So now you know how to hold a pencil, how to hold a clipboard. It's time to start drawing some cartoons. The first, one of the most important things I want to teach you are the two, what I think are foundational principles, basic rules of drawing cartoons. One of them is you need to understand the symbols. And I bet you when I start talking, you'll say, oh, I already know, I know. Because you already know a bunch of these symbols, so that'll be easy for you. The second word that I'm going to teach you starts with the same three letters. I call it sympathy. You're wondering, what? Hang on to that what? I'll get back to it, okay? Let's talk first about the symbols of cartooning. And almost everybody in our culture recognizes these. Let me start with some eyes, shall I? This is not what human beings really look like. But if I draw a pair of eyes like that, you already know those are surprised eyes, alert eyes. If I made the eyeballs, the dark part larger, well, let me do that. Then it's not quite so, he's alert, but he's not terrified. If, on the other hand, I draw an eyelid like this, see, these are all symbols. Do you understand? What is that? A droopy-eyed person, a sleepy person, perhaps. If I do bags under their eyes, then all of a sudden he's become a more haggard, tired. These are all symbols. Does that make sense? Let me do some other eyes. How about just two simple dots? So this is a simpler style of cartoon than this one. You got that? Because I'm not even going to draw circles around those dots. That's the eye. But simply doing eyebrows like that, and you notice they're not even the same length. That's okay. What are those? What kind of expression is that? Tell me. You got it. Surprise. It's exactly right. How about this one? Let's do another very simple cartoon. And this time, instead of the eyebrows going up, I want them to go down. That's right. And if I do that, what kind of expression is that? Oh boy, we don't like to see that one, do we? Angry, upset, concerned, sometimes concentration. So there are all these different symbols. And if you've looked at cartoons, have you looked at cartoons? That's a silly question. I know you have. Then you already know a lot of these symbols. Let's talk about mouths. And of course, the fun part is when you start combining the eyes and the mouths. They go together. But let me say we're going to do mouths separately. Probably the two most universal and widely recognized symbols in cartooning is the what? What kind of mouth is that? Happy, smiley face. If I do this to it, it's all of a sudden that, ubiquitous. What does that mean? It means it seems to be everywhere. Okay, you got that? Ubiquitous. Seems like it's everywhere. The smiley face. Well, if that's the most universal, most easily recognized symbol, there's another one that is very simple, very similar to it. And what is it? Can you guess what I'm going to do? Instead of a curve going up, it's a curve going down. You got it exactly. And what is that? Sad face. Now, do you understand that human beings, when I teach people how to draw faces, I tell them mouths don't really go up. Okay? But when it comes to cartooning, these are symbols that we've all learned. So there's a sad face. How about another one? Here's one of my favorite. What is that? Kind of a worried, anxious face. I think I'm indebted to probably Charles Schulz, the great author of Peanuts, for learning this when I was a kid, just like maybe you're learning them now. Let me see, just a couple more. There are other symbols. Sometimes people use hair. Let me draw a simple head. And if we draw hair standing straight up, that often means that the guy's got a serious glue job in his head, right? Or it means he's scared, right? So there's another symbol. There are motion lines, like if I draw a hand that's like this, that could be any kind of hand, couldn't it? It could be just sitting there. You don't know, if it's somebody laying on the beach, whatever. But as soon as I add these lines to it, then what is it? Well, that's a hand. Maybe it's thrown something. It's gone like that, right? So again, these are symbols that we all recognize. It is a very easy thing to begin to learn the symbols of cartooning. In fact, it's great fun to play with, and I bet you already do play with them. That's the easy principle. Let me go ahead now to the more difficult one. And I'm going to use my friend Charlie here to illustrate it. If this is one of the most common symbols of cartooning, smiley face represents what? Impish grin. You know this guy's up to something, don't you? As soon as I turn it around like this, you go, uh-oh. I'm going to use that as a symbol for sympathy. There's an intense feeling showed here. This guy is very intimidated, a little bit dumb, but he's got a lot of feeling. So the word sympathy means really to feel with, to identify with. And I not only want you to be a cartoonist. Are you ready for this? I want you to be a good cartoonist. Okay? And I'm going to try real hard not to sound like a snob here. If I slip over into a little bit of snobbery, please just forgive me a little bit. I'm going to try not to. I think there are a lot of cartoonists out there that are amazing, fantastic, unbelievable, really good cartoonists. But there are a lot of cartoonists out there that are not what I would call one of the greats. And I want to show you what I think the difference is. And you know what? The difference has mostly to do with what I'm calling sympathy. Now I need to describe that just a little bit. A little bit of a background story. I've drawn cartoons. In fact, here on the table I have a number of cartoons that I've produced over the years. I've done literally thousands and thousands of cartoons. And my wife, we've been married 28 and a half years, and anytime she sees me drawing a cartoon, she kind of chuckles at me, because even if she's across the room and looking at me, listen to this, she can tell what kind of expression I'm drawing, because without even thinking about it, I'll be doing it on my face. I know it sounds really funny, but I think it's one of the reasons I'm a, if you will, good cartoonist, is because I'm not just drawing something, I'm feeling it while I draw it. Did you get that? That's that word sympathy. I'm not just drawing a sad face. Now, it doesn't mean I have to get sad, but I kind of think how sadness feels while I'm drawing a sad face, and I'll be sitting there, and I don't even think about it. I do it, I've done it for so many years, I don't even notice. I'll be sitting there drawing a sad face, and she'll see me and laugh at me. Likewise, if I'm drawing an outrageous, some kind of crazy face like this, then I'll be wearing, kind of a smiling face. Why? Because I'm feeling. Why does that matter? You might say, well, that's crazy. That just sounds. Here's why I think it matters. Because when I sympathize with the emotion of the character that I'm drawing, are you with me? When I feel the same emotion, then it influences the way my hand moves. Got it? So if I'm drawing, let me go back to my marker just for a second. And let's say I'm drawing a worried person. Now what I'm going to do is in my mind, I'm going to I don't have to truly get worried, you understand? But I have to kind of think, well, what does worry feel like? And then I begin drawing that nose, and I'll draw some eyes, and I'll draw the mouth. There. You got it? I don't know if you can see that or not, but these are worry-shaped lines. Is that making sense? Let me do another one for you. Let's say I'm going to draw a sleepy, groggy person. Okay, what am I going to do? And believe me, I don't have to think this way. I do it automatically now, but you'll probably have to practice a little bit. I'm doing a sleepy, groggy person. Let me make this face the other way so that I have all my cartoons going to the left. Okay, so I'm thinking sleepy, groggy. You might say to me, well, I can't really tell the difference between, your worried lines and your sleepy lines. I would say, I'm not surprised you can't tell the difference. But where the difference comes in is the further I go in my details, the more differentiation there will be. Let me just, for example, when I'm doing a very intense person, I kind of tense up my muscles a little bit, and I'm likely to be able to do strong, sharp lines. I'm exaggerating slightly. Do you get it? When I'm doing a person who's very peaceful, I'm more likely to do very smooth lines. Does that make sense? There are a lot of different words I could use to describe this. Expressive line would be one. Drawing from the inside out, perhaps, would be another one. But I believe that's one of the key differences between the really great cartoonists and the people. In fact, I'll characterize it like this. Can I tell you what is the opposite of this for a minute? I can use the back of this paper. Let me tell you, and again, I hope I don't slip over into serious cartoon snobbery. There's a contradiction for you, cartoon snobbery. There is a kind of cartooning that, for want of a better term, I will call art school cartooning. What I mean by that is either cartooning grows out of your, I know this sounds really, I'm getting woo, either it grows out of your inner being, or it's something that you just learned from somebody else and you just like stuck it on the skills you already have. I can spot an art school cartoonist from 50 paces. Let me try to demonstrate. An art school cartoonist may have learned that a nose goes like this, that a mouth goes like this, that he may have learned that eyes go like this. And see, it doesn't matter so much what I'm drawing right now. The important thing is the goes like this part. And I see a lot of cartooning that is, and they might have learned that, oh, a guy has an extended double chin, and then his jaw goes back like this, and he has eyebrows that go up. So there's a very typical, what I would call art school cartoon. It's pre-planned, every line is already memorized, and it's simply a matter of tracing these symbols that we already know. You might say, well, that looks pretty good to me. What's wrong with it? In a word, it's not funny. Ah, 2 words. 2 words. It's not funny. It's pre-planned. Let me give you another example. When I was a little kid, I think I was in 3rd grade. As a matter of fact, I'm positive I was in 3rd grade when I learned this little trick. Now, some of you, if you don't know this trick, you're going to like it, especially if you're in 3rd grade. The word boy. You add a few curves here and there. You add some eyeballs, and you finish, the top of the head, and there you have a boy. Now, that's a fun trick. But is it a good cartoon? No. Why? Ain't funny. It's cute, it's clever, but it's not funny. What makes a cartoon funny? I believe it's the expressive line, what I call sympathy, that there's not a pre-planned feeling about it, but a spontaneity. Do you know that word? Spontaneity, like, whoo, it happened all at once. Happened right here on the spot. I'm going to talk more in my next free art lesson about how to do cartoons, what really makes them funny. I hope that's enough just to get you started. Go ahead and practice a little bit. Study those symbols. Look at other cartoonists. Look at good, especially simple cartoonists, and learn what the symbols are. That's easy. And then start scratching your head about what's he mean about sympathy. I'll talk about it more next time. Good to have you with me. Hope to have you again. Thanks. Bye-bye.